He was once a human, like you and I.
Hello? Mr. Reginald, I'm here for your scrying session.
Ah, Tegot, please come in. I do so appreciate you doing this. Are you sure I can't pay you?
I do it for free for a reason, Reginald.
Well, then come right this way.
Have you, been looking for your cellmate for long?
Oh, no, not long. Honestly, I've had such bad luck with the few people I've seen that I decided I ought to just have it figured out magically.
Oh, I don't blame you. If I could scry for myself, I would, but unfortunately, it just didn't work that way.
Yes. Right this way.
Into the basement?
That's where I've set up the tea and pastries.
Ah, of course. Anyhow, my magic works in a very specific way. It scans the world for 5 or so people that you would be most compatible with, and then assigns you one of them based on the distance and the language.
Intriguing.
I tried doing multiple people at a time, but it seems that the more that I do it once, the less precise the scrying is. For example, choosing from your top 10 people instead of your top 5.
All very interesting.
Yes, I thought so too. I thought you said you'd set some tea out.
I lied.
What are you doing to me?
Transforming you, Tegot. Remaking you, rebuilding you into something a little more malleable.
Stop! Stop! It hurts!
Once you have become a monster, you will have no choice but to follow me and aid me in my efforts to take over the kingdom. No one else will ever accept you see. No one will ever care for you as I will.
Please, stop!
I wonder what kind of monster you will change into. A cyclops? A direwolf? Don't even try to think about rebelling after the fact, because my other monsters... My other monsters... A dragon? How? I turned you into a dragon?
What have you done to me?
Well, you see, Tegot, there's no going back from this, which means you really have no choice but to stay with me and...
To hell with you. I'll make you suffer.
Aha, see? One of your scales has come off. That means you can bleed.
Foolish man!
No! Please, spare me, dragon!
It's too late for that, Reginald. Yes.
Tegot quickly learned the power that came with being a dragon. He could steal the magic of those he slaughtered. Reginald's magic bubbled within him, but Tegot was not yet willing to use it. He freed the other monsters Reginald was keeping trapped in the basement and went back to town with them, looking for his friends.
Diana, Charity, I've returned, and I found the missing people.
A dragon!
No, it's me. Tegot. It's Tegot.
Oh God, it's an army of monsters.
What? No, these are the missing people. They were transformed into monsters, but they're still...
Guards! Guards, quickly!
Stop, please. It's me. Don't you recognize me?
You're a monstrosity, Tegot. Be gone from here!
Leave.
Be gone!
Fine.
So, Tegot ran away. At first, he simply secluded himself on the outskirts of the kingdom, hiding in the cave he eventually came to call his lair. But with time, he grew bitter. When adventurers came across him, he would kill them, first hesitantly, but then without remorse. And when he felt their magic welling within him, powering him, making him stronger still, he liked it. He began scouring the land for powerful magic users, killing them and stealing their magics until he was nigh a god. But even then, he was alone. No one would befriend the dangerous monster. He improved his magic for years, hoping that eventually his original scrying power could tell him his soulmate, but it never worked. In a blind rage, He destroyed what remained of his former kingdom, burning and salting the land which we now know as the Badlands. Since he could not find an ally, he settled for ensuring that the rest of the world would suffer for what it had done to him, transforming and rejecting him, and lose the magic which had caused his transformation. Nearly everyone had magic, because everyone lived unique lives and paved their own paths. To block the magic from reaching the humans, Tegot hatched a plan. He would spread thin his scrying power to determine a soulmate, more or less, for every single human alive. He would use the illusion powers he picked up to print on every human's hands their own name, predetermined by him, and their soulmate's name. And finally, he would use another of his stolen powers, nullification, to hold back any lingering magic from everyone under the spell. When I rejected the soulmate names, I rejected the nullification spell as well, and chose to live life without Tegot's direction. The magic flocked to me as if it had been there all along. But if we fight Tegot, we will end up as just another magical notch on his belt. He will only grow stronger from our defeat. We don't stand a chance.
Yes, we do.
What?
You said he lost a scale. You said he could bleed.
Well, yes, but...
How do you even know all of this?
This was the story as Tegot himself told it, long, long ago. It was passed down for many a generation in my family, no doubt losing some of its accuracy along the way. For all we know, the scale part is completely made up.
I don't think it is. I think we have a real shot at this.
Yeah, Emma's right. With your magic, Ains, Royla's, and with Emma's sword fighting, and well...
With your smarts, Jam. You're in charge of making the plan, Ain can handle getting us close, Royla can take care of any wounds, and Firin and I can go on the offensive.
Firin, have you seen Tegot's lair before?
I doubt any living being has.
We'll have to plan on the go then, but I really think we can do this.
I'm on board. I think they're right, Firin.
We have to at least try.
No, we don't. We could die.
Do you really want to spend the rest of your life hiding? This could change everything. We have to try.
Fine. Fine. I'll do it.
After that, we all said goodbye to Bydro and his village and went on our way, more determined than ever to kill Tegot.
What if someone is out there listening to this broadcast right now? It's not like there's anything else to listen to in the middle of the apocalypse.
Hey, is this the radio person?
Yeah, it's Mason.
No time, I'm in kind of a pickle right now. I'm surrounded by zombies.
Well, if you can make it to the old mall, there are a bunch of other survivors here.
It could be dangerous.
It's the apocalypse. Everything's dangerous.
Tyrm sent me up to be your next interviewee.
Aw, he does care.
He was worried you'd burn them all down if you got bored.
I think I'd rather we both be stuck in the apocalypse together than see them left alone while I escaped.
Yearning for peace in the apocalypse, huh?
Hey, I used to be a pacifist before all this shit went down.
After all, what have you got to lose?
My life?
Amateur worries.
Listen to Apocalypse Radio wherever you get your podcasts.
Until next time, survivors.
In truth, I'd kind of forgotten about betraying Jam. It wasn't until we were standing in front of Tegot's lair that I finally remembered my mother's plan.
Gods, this place is huge.
I didn't realize Tegot's lair was in the mountain.
The ceilings are quite high. They have to be to house such a large dragon.
Hey, don't go having second thoughts on us.
I know, just thinking.
I kept glancing over at Jam as we hesitantly stepped into the mouth of the cave. She was completely unaware of my eyes on her, focused entirely on the lair itself. I knew I was supposed to be focusing on the lair too, but I couldn't stop picturing my dagger in her chest, imagining the way the light in their eyes would slowly die out. It made me shudder.
Hey, are you okay?
Huh? Oh, I'm fine. It's just creepy in here, that's all. The cave was damp and cold, slightly reminiscent of Firen's cave, only much, much bigger. Magical red lights were nestled dimly between stalactites, casting eerie shadows across the way. Our footsteps echoed, no matter how hard we tried to keep them quiet, and I could feel my heart pounding in my chest.
There he is.
And there he was, sleeping almost peacefully, curled up tightly with his tail near his head and his reddish scales reflecting the magical lights. I was only twice as big as his head, and his tail was longer than I was tall. All 5 of us froze in place, hardly daring to breathe lest we wake him. What's the plan?
Firen freezes him in place. We'll look for any wake points while he's frozen, then have Ain teleport you as close to him as possible. You'll drive your sword right into him.
Perfect. Firen?
Awesome! Now Ain?
Oh, fuck.
Okay, new plan. We rush him.
Good enough for me.
Foolish mortals. You dare venture into my lair.
Ah, holy shit! My sword just bounced right off his scales.
I can't freeze him in place again. I'm not strong enough.
Try some ice spikes.
They aren't piercing the scales.
Shit, Ain's down. Royla, get over here.
I'm coming.
Ah! The flames! I can't! We have to retreat!
As if I would let you leave here alive. You are mine to devour.
Everything was going downhill alarmingly fast. My sword was useless, Firen's magic was easily countered, and the bow and arrow we got for Ain may as well have been a pea shooter. I was seriously considering going through with my mother's plan, even though my entire soul screamed at me not to. It looked like we might die here, having angered and strengthened Tegot even further and doomed our kingdoms to another decade of war. But then I noticed Jam. She had been dancing around the dragon, keeping away from his fiery breath, spell bolts, and sharp teeth. But now she was whispering to the injured Ain. They made eye contact with me and then pointed at Tegot as he roared in anger, and my eyes followed their finger to the underside of Tegot's maw, where one single scale was missing.
Now, Ain!
Ain teleported Jam right to the area underneath Tegot's mouth, but Tegot was fast. He swiped Ain away with one clawed paw and grasped Jam around the waist with another. She cried out in pain as he lifted her into the air, and my heart skipped one terrifying beat.
Halt, or the prince dies.
We have to get Magic Emma. It doesn't matter if I get transformed or if he just outright kills me in his fury. I'm going to die either way. We're kind of past the point of no return here.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Oh, I do love when my prey makes a fuss. How entertaining.
We're not here for your amusement.
Fuck it, I'm going for it. Firen?
Do it and die.
Repeat after me. I reject the destiny forced upon me.
I reject
Wait! Tegot stilled, looking down at me curiously. Royla knelt by Firen, healing his burns, and Ain slowly picked himself up across the room. Jam looked so panicked, so desperate, so scared. And I made my choice at the same time as I made my plan. You win.
Oh, giving in to your inevitable death already.
Not quite. I drew my dagger, the one Mother sent with me for a very specific purpose. It was a ritual dagger. It was made for sacrifices. You're too powerful, Tegot. I knew from the start we wouldn't be able to defeat you. That's why I brought this.
Emma, what are you?
Go on.
You wanted a royal sacrifice, right?
Wait, no, Emma, please, you don't have to do this. We can still beat him, I swear. You don't have to resort to this.
I was stepping closer, moving towards Tegot with my dagger clearly in hand. He almost seemed to smile as he lowered Jam to the ground, placing his front paws on either side of her to trap her in place. When they looked up at me with tearfully wide eyes, my stomach flipped. But I knew what I was doing as I walked towards them, taking the route that passed right under Tegot's snout.
Emma, please.
Go on, princess. Do what needs to be done.
I intend to. With a jump, I drove my dagger straight up into the underside of Tegot's jaw, the blade sinking into the soft flesh where the scale went missing so many years ago.
No! What have you done?
What I had to, Tegot. Quest complete. The poison visibly ran through his blood, the whites of his eyes growing irritated and red as green tinted the skin near the blade. He roared once more, falling backwards in pain, and tripped over one of the many stalagmites poking up from the cave floor. When he fell directly on a much taller stalagmite, impaling himself on it cleanly.
He's dead.
You did it, Emma.
We did it. Thanks for pointing out that weak spot, Jam.
I can't believe it! Tegot is dead!
Jam?
Why did you have that dagger, Emma?
I just...
Why, Emma?
My mother sent it with me. She wanted me to sacrifice you when we got close enough to Tegot. I'm sorry. I should have told you.
You kept that dagger, Emma. You had so many chances to get rid of it, to wash your hands of that plan, and yet you kept it. Just in case, huh?
No, Jam,
God's just... I need to be alone.
She walked past Tegot's body, out of sight, and my feet immediately moved to follow her. But Royla stopped me with a hand on my shoulder.
Let them go, Emma. They want to be alone.
I know, but...
Just wait.
No, I won't wait. Jam deserves to know the truth. I followed in Jam's footsteps, stepping around Tegot's bleeding corpse, and found Jam sitting on a rock with her head in her hands. I walked over, stood in front of her, and took a deep breath. I kept the dagger because I kept telling myself I could do it.
God's damn it, Emma.
But I couldn't do it. Because you're my friend, and I care about you, and I genuinely treasure our relationship. I like talking to you, and learning from you, and sparring with you. And if you were my soulmate, I would get it. I would finally understand what everyone's always on about, but if you aren't, I couldn't care less. I'm choosing you anyway.
Emma.
So I'm sorry for keeping the dagger. Really, I am. But you have to know that there is not one single circumstance under which I would have used it on you.
Seeing you pull out that dagger really fucking hurt, Emma.
I know. I'm sorry for that. You didn't deserve that fear. I would never hurt you, Jam.
I believe you.
Thank you.
You're my friend too, you know? I really care about you. I think I might even love you. And if you're my soulmate... Oh, holy shit, wait! We've completed the quest, we could just check, it's... The names, they're gone.
They're gone? Does that mean...
No one has a soulmate anymore. Tegot's magic is gone. We have to decide for ourselves.
Well, then... I've made my decision.
I think I've made mine too.
Jam? Will you be my partner?
Yeah, Emma. I will.
With Tegot dead, we began our long adventure back home. But along the way, we discovered magics of our own without Tegot's magic to stop us. And by the time we got back to Spelldrift, we'd made an even bigger decision. We're going to stay here, in the Badlands.
What? Are you serious?
You have no one to represent you, no one to send you supplies or aid. Now that Jam and I know there are actual people out here, we want to help you. Jam and Royla and I are going to represent the Badlands to our kingdoms, whether our parents like it or not.
We'll go back to our kingdoms, together, to talk things over with everyone and reach a solution that suits us all. Then we'll be returning to Fatefall, where Royla lives.
And me.
And Ain, from now on.
That is very noble of you. If you are telling the truth about representing us fairly and providing us with aid when we need it, then having you as a representative would be a major boon. But I hesitate to place all the power in a human's hands.
That's why we want to make sure you stay in a place of power, Bydro. Jam and I will mostly just act as go-betweens for the various towns of the Badlands and the royalty of Phoeba and Astar. You and Royla will retain full control over your settlements, as will the leaders of all the other towns in the Badlands.
You won't be trampled or forced to conform. With your help, we'll make sure of it.
When we made it back home, there was plenty of pushback from our parents. They clearly hadn't expected us to actually kill Tegot, and they were actually a bit peeved about losing the soulmate magic. They were also a bit peeved by the fact that people from all parts of the kingdoms were gaining magic just by nature of choosing for themselves, and magic was hard to control. But, slowly, they came up with laws to manage it, and eventually we reached an understanding about the Badlands. Jam and I became the official ambassadors of the Badlands, relaying Royla and Bydro's needs to the kingdoms of Phoeba and Astar, and even playing middleman between Phoeba and Astar when they disagreed with each other. Jam and I grew closer and closer, and we kept in touch with our new friends. Royla and Ain were easy to keep around, since we ended up living in the same town as them. Firin was a little more of a challenge, since he was out adventuring now that he could use his magic freely without fear of retaliation, but we still made it work. By the time we had our new home built on the edge of the town of Fatefall, I had already come to a few conclusions about everything. 1, it was okay to take some direction now and then, but ultimately, our soulmates were ours to choose. 2, though Tegot had taken much from the people of the Badlands, he had not taken their humanity, and others were finally beginning to see that. And finally, 3, whatever Jam had going on was exactly my thing.
Oh, was it now?
What can I say? You're my soft spot. My soulmate, even. By choice.
I like the sound of that.
Me too. Soulmate magic or no, family pressure or no, hell, no matter what. I choose freedom and love and you.
I choose you too, Emma. I love you.
I love you too. And that's the story of how we became ambassadors for the Badlands, overcoming identity issues, soulmate troubles, and a literal dragon along the way.
We are pretty badass.
Damn right we are. And now we're on to our next quest. But this time, not for destiny's sake. Just for ours.
Emma and Queen Maria were played by Louisa Stabenow. Jam was played by Killian Day. Royla was played by Volley McCord. Firin was played by Carianto. Ain was played by Zatio. Tegot and King Lawrence were played by Perry Hall. Tenor was played by Mark E.W. Bydro was played by Tyler Moody. Reginald was played by Loxley Blaine. Queen Victoria was played by Jackie Tretton. Devines was played by Nathan Yeager. Diana was played by Carla Francesca. Written by Haven Blaine, with original soundtrack by Yana Ramos and Haven Blaine. Thank you for listening to the Soulmate Quest. We hope you'll check out our other works.